Welcome back to another episode of Make It to Midnight. This is episode 12, and I cannot wait to get into it with you guys. This one is all about Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozi's new podcast. It's 4 hours long. I've only listened to the first hour and a half, but I'm going to break it down to make it a little bit more easily digestible for you guys because they have so many gems in there. Now, before I get into it, for the new listeners, new downloaders, new viewers of the show, quick premise of what this show is and what you can expect from Make It to Midnight. Make It to Midnight is all about trying to help people make it to midnight. Maybe you didn't guess that, maybe you did, but June is also Men's Mental Health Month, where we're trying to raise the awareness, and Make It to Midnight is all about helping people, whether it be friends, strangers, whoever it is. Help them make it to midnight, help them make it to that next 24 hours. That is why we're here, and I also try to keep these episodes 20 minutes or less. If we're feeling ourselves, maybe we'll go a little bit longer, but that is the whole idea of this show. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Now, before I get into Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozi's episode, I got to share with you guys two things. I got to share with you the quote of the day, which was more of a thought or something that I heard in church, and I needed to summarize it up because it is an amazing definition about peace. And then I want to share with you guys a story when I was just driving down the street and I saw something going on in the front yard that was touching, to say the least, even though it was simple. And that's kind of how a lot of things go. The more simple something is, I feel like the more special, the more peaceful, the more intentional it feels. But quote of the day, thought of the day, whatever you want to call it, this one is all about peace, because I feel like recently a lot of the content I see, a lot of the stuff I see from friends or just anything I'm consuming, it's all about finding happiness, right? Do the things that make you happy. Do the things that will make you happy later on. Chase the happiness, kind of suppress the sadness. But I'm starting to realize you want to chase peace. You don't want to chase happiness. And what is peace? Because I've struggled trying to find the definition of peace. I know that, internally, I feel like I know what it is, but I've never been able to put words to it. And the quicker you are able to define something and put words to it, the more easily achievable it is. I promise that if you just take that one thing from this episode, you will gain a lot. Attach these definitions, attach words to these feelings, and you'll be able to figure it out a lot faster. Now, I heard this past Sunday because, again, I've been searching for that definition of peace, and it was this, man. Peace is not happiness. Peace is not joy. Peace is not sadness, and peace is not anger. What is peace? Peace is all of it. Peace is the ability to hold all of these emotions and appreciate them for what they are and the weight that they carry. But the best part about peace, and now really tune in with me here, the best part about peace is that once you have it, the only way to get more of it is to spread it to others. And that is why we chase peace and not happiness. Happiness is fleeting. Peace is internal. Peace is forever. Peace is something you can share with others that will help them in the long run. So I love that. I love that about peace. Now, the quick story I want to share with you guys. This actually happened a few weeks ago, and I've been meaning to share it with y'all because I was driving down the street in a, not like a poor neighborhood, but, lower middle class neighborhood. The house outside I'm going by is not the nicest house. You can tell it's kind of dirty on the outside. Old beat up car in the front. And, just not a whole lot to this house, but there was a whole lot to what was going on outside of this house. And what you see outside of this house was a Mexican dad. He's probably mid-40s, had just got off work. He still had on his whole construction outfit, sweaty. He was probably exhausted, but he had his two kids with him, right? Both the kids, it was a son and a daughter, no older than 10 years old. And they're out there kicking the ball around, and all you see is smiles on those faces. And I'm seeing all this from driving by, right, from the street. So that's how you know these kids are smiling big, because I'm seeing teeth from all the way from the street. And I just thought it said so much about what the perspective, one, that kids have, and two, the importance of investing your time into your kids. Now, I don't have kids, but this still can be invested into your relationship or apply to your relationships, your friends, if you don't have kids, right? Time is the greatest investment that you can make into anybody, and it also has the largest return on investment. And I feel like in today's society, that's not how it is, man. I feel like it's tried to put out there that the time you invest in yourself is going to have the greatest ROI, but I believe the time you invest in other people will have the largest return to you and to them, because guess what? They're going to remember that, and they're going to go share it with the next person, what they learned from you. But watching this family operate with not a lot of materialistic things and still seeing the joy, the happiness, the peace, that was with them. It made me think of a song, and I forget who sings it, but the lyrics is, "There's no time like the present, and there's no present like your time." This scene in the front yard of this man's house with his 2 kids, but he could have easily mailed it in, went to the couch, got some food, and rested, and it would have been justified. But he didn't, man. He took the time. He took the time to spend with his kids, and what he gave them was a night full of laughter and smile, and it is something that they will remember the rest of their lives, and probably something they'll pass down to their kids. So if you have the opportunity, make that investment of time into others. It's important to invest in yourself, because if you're not comfortable being in the room by yourself, you're not going to be comfortable in a room full of other people. So invest in yourself as well. I'm not saying don't do that, but what I am saying is the more that you give to other people, the more you're going to receive when it comes to peace, like we're just talking about before this. Now, shout out to that dad, shout out to that family. Keep doing your thing. If you're a dad out there, keep showing up for your kids. If you're just a friend or son out there, keep showing up for your friends and family. But let's go ahead and get into this Alex Hormozi, Chris Williamson episode. All right, I'm going to run through 9 things I learned from these two in the first hour 15, hour 20 of their podcast. If you don't know these guys, you need to look them up. Chris Williamson is probably my number 1 creator in this space right now. I love all of his stuff. If you follow me, you know I share a bunch of his content. He has some of the greatest interviews. He has some of the best questions. He does his research. And ultimately, he's trying to help people find their way in this world also. And I respect that. I respect him. Hopefully one day I get to meet him. Alex Hormozi is one of his boys, but he's also a masterclass entrepreneur. He's very successful. He's been through a lot. He's sleeping under a bridge at one point, and now he's, successful multimillionaire who's gone through all the different phases, right? He's been the hardo that's work until your eyes bleed, disregard everything else. But he's kind of, as he's grown, as he's gotten more successful and he's able to look back on some of these things, you can tell now he's trying to enjoy the process more. Focus on the things each week. Focus on his small wins, not let certain things get to him. And they have multiple episodes out together. Go listen to them all. But this episode is awesome. Right off the jump, they give you some amazing juice, right? They dive into one of Alex's old tweets that I have pulled up right here, and it is, "The Queen of England died 5 months ago. She ruled an entire nation and accumulated more wealth than 99.99% of humans, and yet you haven't thought about her except for this tweet. You're going to die. Everyone will move on. Do what you want." Now, the reason they share this is to show that taking your risks and being afraid of failure ultimately does not matter in the grand scheme of this planet floating on this rock in space, right? The Queen of England impacted tons of people. She's one of the most successful people, and she's one of the most well-known people in the history of the world, and not a single person talks about her. And so when you're going to chase these things, if you can keep that kind of reality in your head of, man, in 40 years, nobody is going to give a crap if this thing that I'm chasing worked out or not, except for you. Because you're the one that has to sit there and wonder, man, I wish I would have done this, wish I would have done that. But something that is really cool about how they kind of broke this thing down was there's obviously the pessimistic route you can take where it's, oh man, nothing I do matters. But what an opportunity we have, right? That's what Chris says. What an opportunity we have that in the grand scheme of the billions of years this earth has been rotating, we do have an opportunity of 60 to 70 years to make an impact in something that has existed for this long. So be encouraged by it, and hopefully this helps you not be as afraid as you go in. So that was the first thing they kicked off. The second thing, this is one of my favorite quotes I think I've heard this year, and it is, "Emotions are bigger in the vague and smaller in the specific." And I love this because how many times, I know for me personally, you complain about something, right? Oh my gosh, man, I'm having the worst week of my life right now. Am I having the worst week? Let's make it more specific. What happened this week that's making it the worst week? Okay, maybe on Wednesday, it took forever to get to work. I had to stay late at work and somebody was pissing me off at work. Okay, that was one day. That wasn't my whole week. So was my week bad or was my day bad? Now let me go to that day. Okay, so that day work sucked, right? Okay, why did it suck? Was it because of the project? Was it something from an organizational standpoint that could have been solved beforehand? It probably boils down to one or two things where it was the detail that sucked, not the day. I love it because we never really think in the specific. Whenever we're complaining, we're always speaking in the vague, and that goes across everything. It's not just work. You could be complaining about a friend. They could be pissing you off. What's actually pissing you off about them? You boil it down, it's a whole lot smaller problem than you initially thought. So I love that. Emotions are bigger in the vague and smaller in the specific. So get specific. The next thing I want to get into, and another thing that I love, I'm going to say that a lot in this episode, I'm going to say I love this, is changing your scale, right? Change your scale of the wins. Because how many times are there little wins in your week? One, that you don't notice, and two, that you don't even count towards a win. It could be, man, on Tuesday night, I had an awesome dinner with an awesome friend, and that was awesome. Usually when we go and think back about our week, we don't think, oh, man, that was a win, that I had a good dinner. You just think, man, like it was just another week, right? Like there wasn't a huge deal that happened in it. Then look at your month. Maybe you do something that you look forward to every single month. Say it's football season. You got to go to an awesome game, and it was an amazing day. But your other 3 weekends were not as great. So you're kind of focused, because the brain, again, is more naturally focused on the negative. It's focused on those 3 things. You're not counting these small wins, because in our head, we always want bigger. We always want more. We always want it all. But what doesn't make sense about this is that when you look back on your life, when you look back on your year, the things that you want back are never those big moments. It's always the small moments. And for whatever reason, on our scale of wins, we never really include these small wins when we recap our months, weeks, years, whatever it may be. But when we recap our life, we wish, man, how many times you see it in those videos or whatever it is. Man, I wish I could just have one more dinner with my wife. Man, I wish we could have one more boys trip with my friends. Man, I wish I could laugh one more time with my best buddy. It's never, man, I wish I could insert huge life event here, right? It's all of those little moments. It's all of the things that happen in the mundane that make up our life. So that is why it's important to notice them, make note of them, and change your scale and start making those small wins mean something more. All right, number 3, this is a great one. This is a good shift for Hormozi, because he was a work until your eyes bleed type of guy. Don't burn out. Make the ride more enjoyable. So how do we make the ride more enjoyable? What they talk about, what Alex Hormozi talks about, is each day he has on his calendar 3 things that he knows he enjoys, right? He says he loves working out, he loves eating food with friends, and he loves writing. So every day, I'm sure he misses days, we all miss days, but he focuses on those 3 things, right? No matter what, I'm going to do these things so that when I lay my head down at night, I know I did 3 things that I enjoyed. Now, that doesn't make the work suck any less. That doesn't make the things that he doesn't want to do any easier. But what does it do? It makes the ride, like they're saying, don't burn out, make the ride more enjoyable. It makes the ride more enjoyable because every day you are doing something you enjoy. And I feel like we have been told a little bit of a lie of like, you're not going to enjoy every day. Sure, maybe as a whole, but that doesn't mean that there's not something in each day that you can choose to enjoy. And I love that his are so simple. Working out with a friend, eating with a friend, and writing. No matter what happens in his day, he can achieve those 3 things. So I would challenge all of you guys listening, I challenge myself, let's find 2 to 3 things in a day that we know we can accomplish each day and we know we love doing. It doesn't have to have anything to do with work at all. It shouldn't have to do with work at all. It should have to do with the things that you like, because life can be hard, or life will be hard. And not it can be hard. It will be hard. It will try to beat you down. So do your best to make it as enjoyable as possible. All right, number 4, defining your currency. You have a goal, and picture the things that you need to do to achieve this goal are in your wallet. And the wallet, obviously, what does it carry? It carries your currency. So I want to grow this page. What do I need to sacrifice, right? What is my currency? My currency right now would be weeknights with friends. I'm willing to give that up so I can grow this page and try to help people and try to make this thing as big as what I want it to be. So that's what I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to give up weekends, right? It's okay if I don't go out, because I know that when I hand over these weekends that it's going to come back to this show, and I can hopefully continue to grow it. I can learn more about myself, can learn more about this whole industry, and it can help. So that's my currency. Your currency changes as your life changes. When I have kids, it will probably be flipped. So if I want to spend more time with my kids, what is it in my wallet that I'm willing to give up to spend more time with my kids? Could be a pay raise, could be a trip with work, could be a trip with friends so that you don't miss the game. When you're older, what is it? These are all questions. The question of currency, I love the idea of this, because when you make it tangible, when you make it like this physical thing, the sacrifice feels more real, and it also, in my eyes, feels more doable. Because it's like if somebody told me it would cost $20 to get this thing, I'll give them the $20, and I know I'm getting something in return. And so if you do that with this figurative wallet, this figurative currency, you're going to get things in return, man. But you have to define what it is you're willing to give up. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it is important to know what your currency is in this time of life. All right, number 5. This one, remember, Hormozi is a very successful man, and he talks about the happiest guy he's ever known. So Hormozi made his first million, I would say, from running gyms. Now, it started with his own gym, and he had this trainer that he loved. And when he promoted this trainer to manager, he went from making $20,000 base salary to $40,000. And about 6 months into the job, the manager comes to Alex and says, "Hey, I don't want to be a manager anymore. I just want to be a trainer." And Alex like, "Well, I got to give you your pay cut again." "Yeah, no, that's fine." He's like, "You're making, 50% less." He's like, "Oh, I mean, if I need to be broke, I'll be broke, but I just know that I'm happier doing it." And Alex said to him, "I respect it, but I don't think I'll ever understand it." Now, fast forward, Alex sees him, 20, 25 years later, whatever it is, and the guy is still a trainer. I'm sure he's making more than 20 grand, but he and Alex are catching up, and Alex says he was the happiest guy in the world when I met him the first time, and 20 years later, he was still the happiest guy. And here I am. I have more money. I have more of all these things. Yes, I do love working. I don't want to get that twisted, but this guy is still happier. So who is the real fool in this whole scenario? So I thought that was a great story, because that's another thing we see a lot, man. Money is not going to make you happy. This guy knew the currency he was willing to pay to get the things he wanted, and some people need less, and I promise you, less is more in life. The more things you have, the more distractions there is. Obviously, we're all wired differently, right? Like, I do enjoy working. I like to see the result of the work, and I'm process and result oriented. So I enjoy that piece of it. But there's people out there that are not, that they want to work their job and they want to get off and they want to go do the things that they want. They want to enjoy everything from 5 to 9, and that is completely fine. Whatever is going to get you closer to peace, that's what you need to do. But make sure you define it. Make sure it's specific. Remember, emotion exists larger in the vague and smaller in the specific. Okay, number 6, it is okay to change your mind, change your beliefs. These two are a great example of that. Chris was in the nightlife business before he started his podcast. Hormozi was working 40 hours a day, somehow, some way, when he first started. And they say people will take a moment of your life and extrapolate it to forever. And if you change your mind, then you were wrong at the start. And how many times, if you put yourself out there, will that happen, right? It's like I say something when I'm 22 years old about work ethic, and now that I'm 29 years old, I say something completely different, and all of a sudden it's I switched up. I didn't used to believe this, and I was wrong at first, when that is not true. Two things can be right at the same time, and that's how it should be. If I was living the same life that I'm living at 22 as I am now, that's a shame on me, because I have not grown at all. I haven't tried to seek any more knowledge. I haven't tried to push myself. I haven't gone after things that make me a little bit scared. And so I should be a different man, preaching different messages. Obviously, I want my foundation to stay the same, but I should be preaching new messages, preaching like I'm preaching, but saying things with new perspective and trying to give insight, trying to spread the positivity in new ways and not the old ways. So don't let people deter you and try to say you switched up. You should switch up. You should switch up from the person you were when you first started on whatever journey you're on. All right, number 7, discern noise versus signal. Our life is full of noise. We have noise all around us, and we were not built for this noise, right? James Clear says that we have the brains of our ancestors, but temptations they never had to face. Now, noise is a lot of things. Noise could be temptations. Noise could be the things that distract you from your goals. Noise could be some random conversation that you're letting get to your head. Noise can be all these things. Now, there's a difference, and it is one of the key traits that you can have about yourself is being able to discern the noise versus the signals, because signals are important, and the people that can define the signals are the ones that will continue to keep leveling up and learning more about themselves, and on that path to peace, that's where they will succeed. I love this because it kind of goes back all the way to the first thing, or the second thing we talked about, where emotions are bigger in the vague and smaller in the specific. I believe that is the key to discernment as well. It's how you block out the noise. Noise is found in the vague, and discernment is found in Noise is found in the vague, and signals are found in the specific. So keep flexing that discernment muscle. It will take you far. Number 7. Hopefully I'm not mixing these numbers up. We give up our 20s for our 30s. We give up our 30s for our 40s, so on and so be. We will sacrifice our happiness to achieve success because now that I'm successful, I can be happy when that is actually the exact place we started. We gave up our happiness to go after the thing we wanted. We wanted success. We said, okay, I'm willing to pay. In this case, you thought your currency was happiness. I'll give up my happiness so that I can become successful, so that once I become successful, I can become happy. And that is how backwards the human brain, the human psychology works. Because guess what? You find the closest mirror, and I'll be able to show you the problem. We are the problem when it comes to that. But if you keep that in mind, that happiness, that peace, you'll be able to find it a lot sooner. And now, number 8, this is our final one. I know I've been going longer than usual, but I love these guys. I love the messages that they share. I think it's great. I think it's great for everyone to hear, men, women, whoever it is. And this is an awesome one. This is why I saved it for last. Not only because it came last in the portions I listened to, but because I believe it carries a lot of weight. Uncertainty is the largest part of the story. So when you go back, you view it in different context. Perfect example for myself, right? I used to live in Florida before I lived here. I was running my own business, and the most I think I made in a month was $1,500. If my roommate had not allowed me to pay $600 rent, I'm not surviving. But now that I'm 4 or 5 years removed, I'm like, man, Florida was so fun. Living by the beach, on the grind with all these different people, meeting all these other people. Like, I wish I could go back to that. Then after I listened to this episode, I'm thinking, dude, I was in Florida is when my dad was telling me about the phrase, make it to midnight, keep going, because I didn't know how I was going to be able to do it. And so hindsight is 20/20, and you say you want to change things, but that is just not true, because in the moment when you're going through it, you're not sure how it's going to turn out. When you're already past it, you know how it works. There's no more uncertainty, but uncertainty is the journey. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it worthwhile. Yes, it's what makes it hard and stressful, but that is what we were meant for. We were not meant for easy lives. That's what we want to create, but the only way to create easy lives is through this hard work, through the discernment, through taking away the vague and making it the specific. I love it so much, man, because we always look back on these times and we're like, man, I wish I could go back to this. And so much of that is just not true. Truly get down to the details of the time you wish you were in, and I promise you it's not as great as you thought it was. It's only good because you know what happened, because you knew the outcome. In the moment, in the uncertainty, you were scared, but also it's another part of the mind that I will never understand, because I share this on my Instagram. But when you are in your 50s, you wish you were in your 40s. When you're in your 40s, you wish you were in your 30s. Whenever you're in that moment, you don't realize that this is the exact moment that you're going to be wishing that you had back. Now, imagine if you could realize that in the moment. You would probably appreciate it a lot more, and that's what goes back to changing your scale. Take note of these small wins. Define the small wins. Do something during your day that makes the ride more enjoyable. And I believe that can help when we look back. Of course, we're always going to wish for things to be the way they used to be, because we wish we had time back. That's ultimately what it comes down to. You wish you had the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm going to do a part 2 to this because I have to finish their podcast. And then the following week after that, I'm going to dive into this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, that I referenced earlier. Because the book, I've underlined so many things in this book. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Again, really appreciate you being here. It's been awesome to see the downloads, and that's how I know I'm passionate about this project, because the numbers are not crazy by any means. But every single time I sit in this chair, I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to learn more about myself. I'm excited to learn more about the brain, and I'm excited to hopefully inspire people to chase the things they want to chase, to find peace in everyday life, and just to improve everyone's life around me, man, because that's what this is about. We want to help people make it to midnight. So thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel and follow on all the social platforms. I appreciate you. Have a good week.